Yo, what is good, YouTube, and welcome back to another JC2K video. In today's video, we're going to be ranking the best point guards in NBA 2K23 MyTEAM on a tier list, and this might be the last time I do a best point guards tier list in this year, or these positional tier lists in general. Honestly, probably going to be slowing down on the YouTube content a bit over the next few weeks, and then when August hits, honestly, or maybe even into July, probably will be taking a break from YouTube until 2K24 comes out, basically, with a couple of videos here and there, probably just on 2K24 news and stuff. That's kind of my plan because of the fact that views tend to go down so much at the end of the 2K game cycle, and that's totally fine. But this is probably gonna be the last time that I do these positional tier lists this year for that reason. But before we hop into the video, if you haven't already, make sure you hit that subscribe button. Help me push towards the 13,000 subscriber mark on the channel. We've uploaded super consistently all year, and we'll be obviously continuing it into next year, of course, as well. So hopefully y'all do enjoy these videos. We really appreciate it if y'all do subscribe. Without further ado, let's hop right into it. Allen Iverson at D tier. He's just a 6-foot point guard, and you just can't be a higher than D tier player if you're 6 foot tall. I understand he's an in-game card. I understand he's got great SIGs, great stats, great animations, all that stuff. I don't care. D tier. Plain and simple. It's just the honest truth. I don't think you can put him higher than that. Amen Thompson, I think, goes A or B. 6'7" point guard with the Curry slide and a good release, moves really well, has really good all-around animations and good stats and badges. I think he's a very good card, honestly. I'm very high on him as an overall card. I actually still use this card on my team. He's my backup point guard currently behind in-game Luka, and I think he's a great card. But I do think we've got enough in-game and elite level point guards in these last couple weeks where he's like borderline A, borderline B. I'm gonna put him A for now, but I think he might get wide open and move down. Andre Iguodala is good, not great. B or C tier, I would say, for Iggy. I don't think he's incredible. I don't think he's a bad card by any means, though. I'd say probably B tier for Andre Iguodala, but he might be C. I don't know. He's a good card, not insane. I think he's pretty good, though. Anthony Black, I think, is also B tier. I think he's on the same exact level as a Iggy. I think that's a very fair ranking for both of these guys, honestly, is to put them B tier. They're both very good cards. Probably on very similar levels as well. Anthony Edwards a little bit smaller, probably one level down. I think he's a very good card as well, though. Probably the best card in the C tier. All these cards are very good. Even the D tier guys aren't bad at this point in the year. That's how good this position is, though, to be completely honest. That's just something you have to keep in mind, is that we have so many good point guards that if you're a little bit undersized, you don't have the best release in the world, or your SIGs aren't nearly perfect, you're gonna be lower down on the tier list. It's just the way it is. Like Baron Davis is super undersized, so he's a D tier guy. Not a terrible card. He's just too small to be elite, so he's D tier. Ben Simmons, I'm actually going high B. I don't think he's top 10 point guard in the game anymore. Although we do have like 30 somewhat. He's A tier because we have like 30 something point guards on this list. So we can have 6 guys in S tier, 6 guys in A tier. Make it a little more even, I could say. So he's at the end of A tier probably for me, for Ben. I would take Amen Thompson over Ben Simmons personally. Ben is elite in terms of his size, but doesn't have the best release in the world, and that's his biggest flaw for sure. Cade also is going to go A tier for me. I take him over Ben, and I take him over Amen, actually. I think Cade is the best of the point guards that we've seen so far. He's an elite card. Really high on Cade. He's one of my 2 favorite invincible point guards in the game, along with one other guy who we'll get to in just a little bit. Derrick Rose, again, he's just too undersized. D tier for him. Mainly the guys that go in D tier, in all honesty, are going to be the really undersized cards, and unfortunately, Derrick Rose is one of them. Very fun card, but not truly elite. Devin Booker, very similar card to Anthony Edwards. Very good. He has his own fade, which I think is kind of cool, but I don't think he's an incredible card. I think he's a very solid point guard with a good release, good SIGs, good defense, all that stuff, but not quite next level elite. Dominique Wilkins, don't love his release. I think he's good enough to still stay out of the D tier, but I think his release is pretty mediocre, and he doesn't have insane size at only 6'7", so it doesn't really make up for the fact that the release is kind of mediocre the way that it does for Ben Simmons, so he's going to go C as well. I think Doug Christie is also better than Ben Simmons, actually. Do I actually think that? I don't know. No, I don't. Player build is the reason that I don't have Doug Christie that high, to be honest. If he was, because he's listed at 6'6", but his player build is 6'4". If he was listed at 6'6" with a big player build, he'd be an A tier point guard. But his player build is so small that he literally looks significantly shorter than 6'6" on court. So that's a B tier guy for me, in my opinion. And then Wade, as great as he is, being an in-game card with incredible SIGs and animations and all that stuff, still is only low B tier, to be completely honest, because of the fact he's only 6'4". And I know he's the best of the short point guards in the game, the 6'4" and under guys with a great player build and all that stuff, but still gonna go B tier for him. Actually, I'm gonna go top of C for Wade. I think that's the fairest spot to put him. I think Hito is B tier still. 6'10" PG with good SIGs and a very fast base 98-esque release. I think Hito is a great card, and I think it's very fair to put him B tier still, even though he is the only Galaxy up on this list. I think he's amazing. John Morant at 6'3" is going to go D tier. He's just too small. Same thing all these D tier guys have in common so far. Jerry Stackhouse is going to go C tier for me. I don't love the card. I don't think he's bad, but his release is a teensy bit slow. I really like this card. I think he's very fun to use, but I'm still going to go C tier for him. Jimmy Butler's going to go S tier, our first S tier PG, a 6'7" in-game. He's an incredible elite level PG option. 6'6" in-game Kobe is top of A or bottom of S. Gonna go S actually for Kobe. I like Kobe better than MJ. I think he just moves better for whatever reason in my team. Froby also has a cool player build. I think he's a very solid card still. Pretty high on what you can get out of a Kobe card still in my team. And I think he's still an S tier guy. Honestly, Lamar Odom is also S tier. I think Odom is so good. This card is so solid in my team. Like he's 6'11" or 6'10". He's not 6'11", but he's got a very good player build, an elite level release. He moves really well. I think he's a better version of like a Nikola Jokic, Hedo Turkoglu type of player at the point guard position. I legitimately believe you could argue he's as good as the second or third best point guard in the game. I think he's that good, and I honestly don't think that's gassing it to put him up near that high. Like that might be a little bit, not really though. Like I think he's a top 3 point guard in the game. I really do think he's that good. LaMelo, I don't love. I think he's C tier. I'm not a huge fan of LaMelo. Him and Dominique are 2 of my least favorite invincible point guards, at least of the side guys who have size. LaMelo's got a good release, but I feel like his upper on his own release is kind of inconsistent, to be completely honest. I think he honestly is not that great. I don't think he's bad by any means. I just don't think he's next level great at the PG position because his movement also just feels clunky this year. I don't know what it is about LaMelo's movement this year, but he's felt clunky all year, all of his cards, and it's honestly disappointing because I thought LaMelo was awesome last year, and I think LaMelo's been good in 2K every single year, to be honest. And this year, he's just not that great. I'm not saying he's bad by any means, because I would not say LaMelo's a bad card. I just don't think he's next level amazing. And generally in 2K, like LaMelo's one of those guys who's one of the best point guards in the game for months and months and months. The last few years, like when he comes out, he's always elite. And this year, I just don't feel that same way about LaMelo, unfortunately. So kind of is what it is, but I'm going to put him down in the C tier. LBJ is S tier. In my opinion, the best point guard in the game. His animations are different, even at the end game level. I think he's absolutely incredible. He's 6'9" at PG with an amazing player build. Separates himself. I mean, he's just a different level of PG than any of these other guys, I feel like, because he can guard the Giants at a super high level, but he also has incredible SIGs. He's an amazing 3-hunter. He's one of the best slashers in the game, period. He's an incredible card, and I am just really high about what you can get. I'm high on what you can get out of a LaMelo card. I always am. I'm sorry, a LeBron card, and I think he's absolutely incredible. I'm putting Magic D tier because his release is that bad. I think he is good. I don't think he's No, I'm not. And I'm moving Anthony Edwards up, and I'm moving Jerry Stackhouse up, because I think that's probably the fairest way to do this. No, I'm moving Anthony Edwards back down. This is tough. I'm putting Magic in C. I think his release is terrible, and I don't think he gives you the slashing or the defense that you're going to get out of Ben Simmons, to be completely honest. That does not mean the card is bad, though, and I am still going to put him decently high. Like, I'm still going to give him C tier because he's 6'9". If he was 6'4", he'd be D tier easily. If he was 6'6", he'd still probably be D tier. Magic is also S tier. The other Magic, obviously. Very big difference between this card, because this card has an elite release, an amazing 6. He's got all the end-game animations. And despite the fact that the end-game animations are boring and repetitive and all that, that doesn't mean they're not good. They're very good animations. We all know this. Unless you don't like the Sadiq Bey upper, but even then, just practice the release more. It's really a good upper. You just got to learn the upper. And yeah, he's S tier as well. Manu's going to go C tier. Same level as guys like Anthony Edwards, Devin Booker, LaMelo, Dominique. All these invincible point guards, I feel like a lot of them are very similar cards. It becomes opinion in a lot of ways in terms of which ones you want to use, which ones you like, all those types of things. And LaMelo is a Manu. Why do I keep saying LaMelo? Manu's a very solid card in my team. Dude, MJ is also like, I hate MJ's release. I like Anthony Edwards better than MJ. I do. I'm moving Anthony Edwards up, and I think Wade might get moved up as well. I don't like MJ's KPJ. I think it's the worst KPJ in the game. That release just sucks. I mean, honest to God, I just think the release kind of sucks on that. I know it's KPJ based, but there is such thing as a good KPJ base and a bad KPJ base, and that is a bad KPJ base. MJ's upper on his cards this year is very poor. I do not like MJ's upper at all, and it just makes the jump shot much worse. Not a bad card, but undersized as well. I don't love MJ's player build this year. MJ should always be elite in my team, and he's just not this year. I don't know why it is, but I mean, his in-game card is, but besides that, he was really never elite in my team, outside of the fact that he got the end game, of course. The end game, honestly, is going to go high A for me. I don't think he's is he top 6? We're looking at the point guards that are left. Yes, he is fine. He's the 6th point guard in S tier. These are the 6 point guards in S tier. Oh, I forgot Luka. I somehow didn't put Luka on this list. Luka is obviously also S tier. I don't think that's going to surprise anybody that I think Luka's S tier. That should not be a surprise to anybody, of course, because obviously he's my favorite player in the league, but I also think the card is really good. So with that being said, I would say 7 S tier point guards. Then if I had to move one of them down to be MJ, I think Kobe moves better than MJ in my team this year. I just think he's a better overall card, generally speaking. So I will say that, but those are my S tier guys. Jokic, I put the wrong Jokic, but that should be A tier. I almost think Hero Jokic, I meant to put Hero Jokic. I almost think Hero Jokic is borderline S tier. Like, you could argue him over an MJ, a Kobe, a Jimmy, guys like that. I don't think I quite would make that argument, though, but I do think he's actually a pretty damn good card. So that's an argument that you could, at least in theory, make if you wanted to. And outside of that, I mean, he's definitely A tier. Penny Hardaway as well is obviously A tier. I think Penny's awesome. Really, really good card. Very, very high on Penny. Have been all year. I just always like Penny cards. Obviously, his release wasn't that good early in the year, but I think his cards are always really fun to use in my team. I feel like he always moves well. And then they gave him an elite release on this card. He feels fun. He feels like himself, but he also is like different. He's not an in-game card. He's not repetitive. I think he's a super fun card. One of my favorite point cards to use in the game. I think Ray Allen is going to deserve a B tier spot as well. I think he's better than the guys we have in C tier. I really like his release. He moves perfectly, pretty much. I mean, he's a really good, really fun card. Russ, unfortunately, goes D tier, as do, honestly, all these last guys go D tier. It's a shame. No, Steph goes C. I'm giving Steph C because he is an in-game. The in-game Steph is going to go C. I still don't love the card, but I think you got to go C for in-game Steph. Outside of that, though, I do think you have to go D tier for most of these guys. It's just the way it is. They're just too small. Invincible Steph, Invincible Russ, who does not have the best release in the world. Stephon Marbury is good, not great. I just think the fairest spot to put them is in the C tier, or in the D tier, to be completely honest. They're not that great. None of them are horrible cards. I just don't think any of them are great. And unfortunately, that is where they're going to go in today's video, is we're going to put them down in that D tier. So it's a fair spot. I understand D tier is mostly short guys, but that's just the way the game is at this point. Unfortunately, height determines this game and your success more than anything else, it seems like, at a lot of times, which is really a real shame. But that is going to do it for this video. Hopefully you all did enjoy. If you did, make sure you hit that like button, leave a comment, and subscribe. I'll be back with more 2K content very, very soon. I appreciate y'all. Peace.